Welcome to Level Up Chips, Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Level Up Chips. I am your host, Michael Gonzalez, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, Max Logan, and the new guest host. Why don't you say your name?
I'm Stephanie Chipman.
All right, hey. I didn't know the last name, actually. I just knew Stephanie, so that's a new one.
Oh, thanks.
But how's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I mean, I'm currently going to be in the gauntlet of writing research papers.
I could tell something was going on because he kind of grunted at first. You're like, oh, God.
Yeah, no. In like 3 weeks, I have 2 of them due, so I just have to, like, work on that's like my job now.
Just doing research papers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I saw the stack of books he had.
Yeah.
It was like up here, like insane.
All on the same subject, too.
What's your major?
I'm a history major, and the one I'm working on right now is about the American occupation of Japan after World War II.
He did this to himself being a history major,
yes.
So at this point, I can't even blame him.
I'll eventually get tenure.
That's all he's hoping. That's really what he's hoping.
Yeah, exactly. But let's get into the actual topic.
Yeah, why don't we do that this time? So let's get into some of the news right now. I think this is going to be a really quick and easy one since we've talked about this last week. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is launching this Friday for us. Yeah, tomorrow. But it was last Friday for everybody else. We talked about this game, last episode, and we kind of talked about some of the comparisons of Persona 5 and SMT and how they shouldn't really be compared when it comes to reviews and stuff like that. So if you want to, hear that, check it out. Otherwise, I'd recommend getting the game because it is a very intense but fantastic RPG. Have you ever heard of the SMT series?
No, I never have. What kind of game is it?
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it's like... So you know how back when Pokemon was, like, huge? Like, Christian parents were like, you're summoning demons to fight other demons. Yeah, no, that's literally what it is.
That's
have, like,
SMT.
a team of demons, and you fight other demons with them.
So this is the Christian parent nightmare.
Yes.
Exactly.
What they thought Pokemon was.
Exactly. No, it's hilarious because you can even, like, fuse them together to make new demons and stuff like that. So it's a really difficult RPG. Like, if you're looking for something that's, has that relative idea of Pokemon of, like, getting some of these demons and, like, getting some of those attacks, kind of fusing them together, kind of like fusing them, you can get new skills, and it's almost like those, like, discs that you can get in Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
The TMs.
Yeah, the TMs and stuff.
Or HMs.
It's a very complex Pokemon. That's kind of what people say, but in general, it's just... It's a game where you have to learn the rules of stats and debuffs and buffs. Because one boss could potentially... Not even a boss, just a regular battle could go from, oh, this is fine, to all of a sudden you're dead because someone decided to debuff you so you can never hit. Like, you just keep missing every time.
Stuff like that. And to quickly summarize, Persona is somewhat similar, except it's more, like,
it's a
beginner-friendly. It's a spin-off. And also it has more social aspects, like, you're usually in a high school and you have friends and all that stuff.
SMT is just post-apocalyptic Pokemon.
That sounds great.
It's
you should
fantastic.
put that on the cover.
I highly recommend it, honestly. But yeah, that we've already talked a lot about that for the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing that has been coming around lately is the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy just released today. Have you seen any of the screenshots that people have gotten?
Of the models?
Oh, no. Okay, so
yes.
I have it saved right here.
Gosh, I used to play Vice.
Vice City.
Yeah, Vice City when I was a kid.
Yeah, they messed it up with the models. The models kind of look like this, and I'm probably gonna get some pictures for the video.
Those look like the ones from Vice. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Hold
That's
on.
San Andreas.
Fingernails are kind of a problem in the game too. Like absolutely like like pearly
God.
white nails.
Don't judge him. He both of his shoulders are dislocated.
And here is the best one of them all.
Oh my god, that is so disturbing.
It is so bad. It looks like one of those Ark Survival type of avatars
Characters,
that you
yeah.
just kind of like slide around, like Saints Row avatar looking ass.
I love how it's compared to the Vice City one.
It's really bad. It is so bad in comparison.
That is so disturbing.
Otherwise, like Rain, it's in a grid pattern now for
Instead
some
of
reason.
like randomized.
Yeah, it's not randomized. Literally, you look at the rain, it's just hitting in a grid-based pattern. And what was it? Frame rate is really bad. There's a lot about it where people are like, "Hey, lighting's cool." The rest of the stuff, the models, they are iffy beyond all hell.
They took a step back.
For some reason, they did. I actually saw the trailer and I was like, "Okay, maybe this will be good." They're not completely remaking it. They're just adding new stuff to the textures, to the models, the assets. Maybe this will be good. I don't know what they did to the models. I don't know how any of that stuff got approved, but that's besides the point, really. The other game that just came out today is the Skyrim Anniversary Edition. They're celebrating the 10th anniversary of
Yes.
Skyrim.
10.
And what are some of the things that are included, Max?
Yeah. So it's of course the base game and all the DLCs. It's practically like an expectation at this point. But also it has, I think, over 200 of the Creation Club mods, the ones that you had to pay for before. Now they're just
Okay.
included in the game. So probably one of the funniest ones to me is that in Oblivion there was this thing called the Horse Armor DLC, which is often labeled as the impetus of like cosmetic microtransactions. And now you can put armor on your horse in Skyrim. So
They're back.
yeah, they're back. Also, you can fish, so it's automatically a better game.
I mean, honestly, does it protect your horse though?
No,
My
it's
horse
just
dies every 5 seconds.
yeah.
I
Every
think
time I
it's
play the game.
automatic. I think it's just cosmetic, which is so funny that they
Barely-
decided let's just bring it back for the anniversary edition. Just bring back that can of worms.
Mhm.
So that means that Minecraft has better horse armor than Skyrim.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually functional, but
But it has fishing. That's the thing, Stephanie. Come on.
There's fishing
As-
and there's some new quests, right?
yeah, there's new
I
quests,
think so, yeah.
new armor, new weapons, new enemies, all that stuff.
Just a better port of
Yeah,
a
it's an
game that's
upgrade.
10 years old and
Still getting re-released, and as Todd Howard says from his very own mouth, we'll stop re-releasing it when you stop buying it.
has he actually said that?
Yeah, like if you guys want us to stop re-releasing Skyrim, then you gotta stop buying it.
Well, why don't they just make a new game? I know they're in the middle of making a new game, but
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6.
From
we
what
haven't
I've
seen
heard-
anything except the teaser.
Yeah, the teaser happened, and from what I've heard, basically, as soon as Starfield comes out, then they'll start making Elder Scrolls 6. They're kind of working on it, but otherwise, I've heard it's going to be a new engine, which I'm kind of excited for.
Because Bethesda's been recycling the same engine since Morrowind.
Which is just really sad that they decided even for Fallout 76, like, alright, Morrowind engine, let's go.
The creation engine, as it's called.
Morrowind was a good game, though.
It was a good
It
game.
was underrated, for sure, just because it didn't have voice actors.
It's a great game, but when you have like a game that comes out from like, what was it? It was like 2018,
Yeah,
When-
2018, Fallout 76 came out.
and they were still using it. To me, that's like, okay, let's take it a step back. Why don't we just like, I don't know, make make a brand new engine?
Mhm.
Maybe ask Capcom to use the RE engine.
Yeah. And to be fair, Bethesda had literally never done an online game like that before, so
They
No.
kind of had their own Final Fantasy. What was it, 14?
Actually, and Final Fantasy 11 was also an MMO, but 14 was just so badly handled that they said to rebuild it from the ground up. Versus 11, where it was just updated to be more accessible.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll be able to get their things in order. I'm kind of hoping, but otherwise, Anniversary Edition. It's a fun time. You got fishing. I don't know why we keep bringing it up, but it's fishing.
Yeah, because fishing is a mandatory aspect of all good RPGs. You know what? Let's take back the SMT statements. Bad RPG because there's no fishing.
Oh my gosh. I still want the horse armor to actually function. That would be nice.
I
want my horse to live.
People just want to bedazzle their horses.
I mean, who doesn't? But
honest to God, the thing that I really want is the horse armor to act like the Ghost of Tsushima horse armor, where it just kind of like stampedes through the crowd and kills all the Mongols and stuff.
Yeah, maybe, but also the horse is I guess they didn't want to adjust the AI for Skyrim horses because those things are dumb. They'll like fight a dragon.
Actually, I think you're right. The more I think about it, if they tried using the charge function and you used it on like a giant, that's gonna ragdoll like crazy. The physics are gonna be so bad. Oh
Horse,
God.
No.
She's like, Henry, stop. Back up.
Oh man, I'm actually just looking forward to all the like weird slow motion like clips that you get from like highlight reels where it's just you're shooting random arrows and all of a sudden it just travels through like a bunch of trees, through a bunch of leaves, and it hits this one chicken that's like you didn't even see. Sometimes that just happens. It's so weird.
Yeah, so.
But otherwise, yeah, that's kind of...
Skyrim's a fun time, but it released today on current gen stuff, and you can get it if you have the original special edition for $20.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say, yeah, you have to pay $20 if you already have the PS4 version, but if you want like the full PS5 thing and you don't have the PS4 version, that's gonna be a full
50, yeah.
So
which isn't bad considering they could have charged $70 for it.
They could have easily. So I guess, count our blessings for
exactly.
Skyrim.
I would think that most people already have the base game anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So no matter
Who
what...
doesn't have a copy of Skyrim? At least 10 lying around the house.
It's a decade old.
The fact that I have it on the Switch is still kind of weird to think about. Like, it's just everywhere. At this point, I'm waiting for a mobile phone port.
Oh, they already have the Elder Scrolls Blades.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's the best, but it seems interesting. The graphics aren't half bad for a mobile game.
I was gonna say I might as well just play it on the Switch if I'm gonna like get it mobile.
And speaking of the Switch and Nintendo, let's get into the main topic.
Smooth. Okay. Yeah. So the main topic for this week is actually about Animal Crossing. Because we talked about this in a previous episode about how DLC was coming out, and it's a lot of stuff. There was like regular free DLC, but there was also some paid stuff that was really interesting. And I haven't really played too much into it, but I know that some of my lovely co-hosts have been able to play through and get through some of this stuff because I have a really bad island at the moment. Stephanie, have you played a lot of this?
I've played a little. It's definitely interesting. I like how they kind of brought back things from New Leaf, because that was the game that I really was interested in, like the town ordinances.
Yeah, right.
The island that you can now travel to. You can travel there even if you don't have that paid version. And then there's something new, the cooking, obviously.
The cooking I'm really excited about, actually.
So I can finally kill the sea bass that I catch.
At least they're useful for something.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll finally be able to hear that like C+ pun and stuff, and then just
be like, all right,
gut it right there.
Well, supposedly, every time you catch a new fish, you're supposed to get a new recipe.
Oh.
Is how I understand it.
I'm game for that. That
Yeah.
actually sounds pretty fun.
And you can catch your neighbors or whatever cooking in their kitchen, just like when they're making stuff at their crafting table, and be like,
Hey, what's that recipe?
Exactly. Get a new recipe like every day.
Actually, a lot of people are looking at those recipes and they're like, all right, finally we can like have a cookbook for Animal Crossing. Before, there were a lot of cookbooks where it's like, this is what I think this villager would like because of this aesthetic that they have. Now there's actual Animal Crossing food that people are like, finally, this is the Animal Crossing pie. You've seen it, you've baked it, here you go. And some people are getting a little bit of discourse because it's the Animal Crossing fandom. But otherwise, it's a really interesting thing, especially with the farming. I think that's a really interesting thing, having carrots and actually having crops.
Well, yeah, because last year with the Halloween edition, they released the farming of pumpkins, but nothing else. So it definitely told you that there was going to be more.
It definitely, it brought some stuff where I was like, okay, pumpkins, this is new. It seems like they're hinting at something. It reminds me of when, what was it, that Super Mario Party? When they had the free update where it was like, oh, you can do online play.
Like
I remember
3 years after it released.
I remember
like,
hearing
what's
that. I was
going on?
like, there's something big happening. I can feel it. What's happening? And then all of a sudden, they were like, oh, hey, a whole new like remake of some of the old Mario Party maps. I was like, oh, there it is. So Nintendo does like to do a lot of that stuff where they're like, hey,
They hint at something.
they test it. They always test it with some of the like new stuff. And they're like, all right, how do you guys like pumpkins? And everyone just kind of goes insane over them. I remember anything new in Animal Crossing, there's always someone who's going insane over it. Like with the cafe that just got released.
Roasters,
Rossetti, you can talk to Rossetti again, and basically he's talking about how like his new job that he has, he's much more relaxed.
Yeah, he's more happy. He didn't like yelling at people for resetting their games.
He hated his job, which is really funny to think that Nintendo just kind of like forced him into it. Maybe it was Tom Nook. Maybe there's going to be a new game theory. I don't know. That would be kind of fun just to see what they'll do with Rossetti. But I've seen a lot of people on Twitter just like, oh my gosh, it's Rossetti, and they're going absolutely insane over him, like feral. It just kind of goes to show anything in Animal Crossing will be kind of like cool.
It's that pandemic game.
Yeah. Came out at literally just the right time.
Kind of perfectly. I don't think Animal Crossing was as like nearly as popular before then.
Yeah.
It was like relatively like there was always that like nice little community, and then as soon as they got a hint that like there's going to be an Animal Crossing for the Switch, I feel like that's when the community just went
Exploded.
a little bit. Yeah, exploded, became angry, and started to exploit the game a little too much, where as soon as they got that hint, they're like, okay, where is it? Anytime that there was a direct, they're like, Animal Crossing, where is it? Now.
They're like Smash fans.
They were. And then...
Well, I guess not anymore, because Smash Brothers is done for the moment.
It's going to be a while until we hear anything about that. But as soon as the game came out, it was the right time. And it got even crazier because of it, because with the pandemic and people just playing it all the time, I remember specifically the turnip stock market.
Stock market.
There were people who were acting like it was Wall Street. Like they were going insane over it. The other thing that I remember is we talk about this quite a bit, Max and I, since we're roommates. We talk about the Raymond
situation. Okay, so effectively, there's a very there's a very popular villager named Raymond. He's like a cat in a business suit with heterochromatic eyes, and you know, he's cute, like whatever, but people just freaked out over him, and people were paying actual money to have people like bring him over to their islands
because he's that cute.
Yeah, just because he was like the hot ticket item of the month.
I remember seeing a tweet where it was Raymond in a cage with a maid dress on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can make him wear a maid outfit.
And they said, okay, how much are y'all willing to pay for this? And I remember thinking, no way. Are they actually, like, having a trade for...
Yeah. You know, people would pay, like, hundreds of dollars just to have him on their islands.
Well, it is random, so I get that if you want a particular villager and you just can't get them.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know that amiibo cards are becoming more accessible, especially with the new update, so maybe people will be able to get their hands on them.
That was the big thing with this new update and that direct that came out.
You can bring villagers to your campsite with
and
amiibos.
Yeah, I was gonna say the new wave of amiibo cards has Raymond in it.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as that happened, I was like, he's free. He's finally
the
free from the crash of
from the market.
It was,
as we call it.
Looking back on it now, it's hilarious. But I remember looking at it and being like, why are people like this?
Yeah.
What is going on? The pandemic really made people a little
up.
crazy.
Mm-hmm. Stir crazy.
There's a lot of good characters. I know that I really wanted Roscoe for the longest time.
What type of animal was Roscoe?
I think he's a horse.
Oh, I think I know Roscoe. I'm starting to remember.
But I had 2 penguins at once, and I thought they were so cute. I was like obsessed with the little penguins. I got Flo and Cube, and there's so many that like I could sit here and like name off names, but you don't even know what I'm talking about because you have a completely different set.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There are so many villagers. I remember someone decided to rate all of them in like a tier list.
Oh, yeah.
It took like a good hour or two for them to finally like list
Finish
them all.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, those grumpy villagers are probably at the bottom there.
Ghastly. Ugh.
I was trying to. I had one named Toad, I think.
What was your first Animal Crossing game?
The first game I ever played was on GameCube.
You actually got the GameCube
the
one
original.
first. Okay.
And then I started playing New Leaf because I already had a DS and everything by then. But I do actually still own the GameCube version. I play it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's one of those people that I'm very directionally challenged, and that game totally messes with my head because it's hard to tell where everything is.
It's a really weird system, especially because, like, as a GameCube game, I think that it would have worked a little bit better with, like, some of the grid system. But because they pretty much made, like, a deluxe version of the N64 Animal Crossing game for Japan, for the GameCube,
Animal Forest, yeah.
There's something about it where it's like, yeah, it seems really dated. I remember thinking that even for, like, when it came out. Because we were able to get it from, like, a rental store. We actually were able to buy it. And I remember just thinking, like, oh, this is, like, a little different. Where's the loading screens? You know, there was something about it that was a little bit odd. But, going into, like, the DLC, have you actually been able to, like, help any villagers out in that, like, happy home designer type of thing? No?
I haven't yet, but I did have one of my villagers come into my house, which I thought was the cutest.
Yeah. When we were watching the Direct, we made the joke that, like, they can break into your house now.
They're very polite, though. They're like, knock, knock. Hi, it's Megan. Can I come and hang out with you?
Oh my gosh, I just realized, can't you make different nickname or what was it, catchphrases for some of these people?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make it so they're gonna come in and then say, "Oh, you're approaching me."
Oh, Joe. Wait, you still have to watch part 2.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'll do that later, but still, wouldn't that be funny? That would be great if.
Uh-huh.
Because it's the same angle. I remember in the video, it was that angle, just the, oh, you're approaching me type of thing.
From the right of the Yeah, right.
It was good. I thought it was funny, but I'm getting a little bit excited to actually get some of that stuff because with the Happy Home Designer stuff, there's a partitioning walls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, have you seen those?
I
No.
haven't yet. I did want, like, I know Happy Home Designer, the older game, obviously didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
It was not very popular, but I liked the idea. So I'm hoping that this update will really capture the good parts of that idea.
I'm really thinking that with this, it's gonna actually bring a somewhat campaign to Animal Crossing because I feel like that's the other big thing. Like I love Animal Crossing. It is that like Zen garden of a game. That's really what it comes down to. At the same time, after a while, I just look at it, I'm like, there's no goal. You know, every now and then there's a goal, but as soon as you're done, you're like, all right, sitting around, can't do anything. And that's the big thing that I still have a complaint of with like just Animal Crossing and hanging out with friends in, you know, on your islands. It's a neat thing to go look around. It's like, oh, cool. That's all you can do. I've always had the complaint that it doesn't have the same thing of like New Leaf where there's actual multiplayer things that you can do. Like going on to Tortimer Island, being able to play those like little mini games, and even the I don't know, the little area where when it's summertime, it's midnight, you get those like really legendary bugs.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Like
That's how I made my money.
you get so much money with those. It was so great. I loved it because my brother and I, we'd just be in his room just at midnight, just going through, like, sneaking around with the bugs and stuff, and then just paying off our debts like crazy.
Oh, yeah. If my boyfriend came over to my island, he would give me all the bugs that he would get. And that was the fun part, that we could kind of do it together and get excited about whatever bugs we're finding. Or mad, you know.
Unfortunately, I just don't see that when it comes to New Horizons. It is a great thing, but when you have the feature of bringing in 8 villagers, you know, like you can do that now. That's cool. It's just, what can you do with 8 villagers? Is it just gonna get cluttered and everybody's trying to look around and then it just gets like not fun? It needs something to.
I mean, back during the pandemic, people were, what was it? They were holding like meetings in Animal Crossing. So like, they'd have all their people come to the same island and sit at a table.
I forgot about that. There was actually something that was.
It's like a Japanese like corporation was doing that.
Some people actually did like late night show, like talk shows and stuff with Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
That's so random. But at the same time, every example that we have, there's something outside of Animal Crossing that you have to do in a way that you have to communicate.
Right.
So it's not entirely just Animal Crossing.
And that, I think, is the big problem. Like, in a certain way, yeah, when it comes to doing those meetings, it's a funny little thing to get people together, but there's no voice chat. There's nothing about that makes it like, oh, well, this is actually a good utilization. You know, you can do the emotions and stuff on there, but really, these are all just novelties. I'm thinking that when it comes to some of these new effects, I am getting excited because let me show you just a quick picture of like a game cafe someone did. You see like the little partitions in the walls that just kind of like go out?
That is so cute.
Yeah,
it looks like a real place.
It's really neat because, yeah, they were able to make an actual internet cafe with those little partitions. It actually brings a little bit of depth
to a room.
Exactly.
I'm definitely more of a decorative person. I know that you're very goal oriented, so that's why you like Stardew Valley. But I'm definitely more of like, I like to decorate things. I like to change my outfit all the time. I like to change what everything looks like. So that's why I'm excited. And things like the partition will make things look more realistic.
That's the big thing that I was really excited for. I am a decorative type of person. Like I love that stuff. But you are right. When it comes to games, I am more like, all right, there's got to be an end goal. You know, there's got to be something that I'm really reaching out for. I think Stardew does have that, and I'm kind of hoping that with this Happy Home Designer, maybe I remember I basically during the pandemic drove my way to get to the 5-star island so I can really design the place. And that was my end goal. I just drove towards it. And I'm really hoping that with some of these people playing Animal Crossing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping they take it slow.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I honestly, for Animal Crossing, I don't really have much of a goal in mind, other than like, oh well, I need more storage for my house, so I need to pay off the debt and upgrade it, or like I don't really care about getting those 5 stars. Like I don't really care about the KK concerts that you can have when you get those. But like I mean,
Am I just the
one of,
outlier?
one of my biggest one of my biggest accomplishments so far in the new save file I've done, because the save transfer for Animal Crossing is really weird. So Mike and I just had to start over.
Yeah.
One of my biggest accomplishments is going to the clothing store and finding a straw hat.
I have that hat.
Yeah,
So
because
cute.
I'm just really into One Piece. So like I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I need to get this, and then and I just wear it constantly now. Like it's just something that makes me happy. I don't know.
I get that. I totally do.
Yeah, seeing the new stuff every day. That's one of my favorite parts about starting a new day. It's like, what's in the clothing store?
Yeah, what's in Nook's cranny?
I'm not to mention with the new DLC and stuff, it is very exciting because from what I've seen for some of the new items, they're much more up my alley. I think that with some of the I feel like with some of the original content, it was good, for New Horizons, but they still had that idea of like, oh, it has to be themed somewhat, and with that came the same kind of issue that they've had for a little bit with Animal Crossing, where it's like, oh, it's not something I actually want in a room. Like, I don't want an entire room just completely pink and a sofa that is pink, a coffee table that is pink, and they all have the hearts and stuff.
Well, you don't like that? You don't like a all pink room? Have the what do they call it? The place that reviews your room, your house.
Oh,
They
the
give you
Happy
an A.
Home
They give you a
Academy?
straight up A for that.
I mean,
That's what they like.
I just stuffed my house full of stuff. Like it just clashes. It doesn't look good, but they gave me an S.
They just. I'm honestly curious what kind of algorithm they have for this.
And then in my last island, I actually had a theme. Like I was going for a Japanese look, right? And then they gave me a B every single week. I was like, what's going on? Do I just have to put more stuff in my house?
They like hoarder houses. Those are the S tier.
Actually, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely thinking you're right. I think they want the hoarder houses because I remember... No. Hear me out, okay? So, when I wanted to get the 5-star island, I kept going to Isabel. I'm like, all right.
What do I do?
What did I get? And she was like, all right, you got a 4-star. I was like, okay. Every single day for a week, I was like, all right, what did I get? 4-star. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What is going on? At some point, I decided, you know what? I am just putting anything and everything out on the lawn. 5-star. 5-star.
Yeah, if you just put a bunch of decorations out, people just put all their flowers in one place. And they'll be like, oh, you have enough flowers. Doesn't have to look good.
I got an Easter Island head right next to one of those carnival rides.
I'd go to that carnival. That sounds like fun.
It doesn't match. It hurts. It hurts so much. They don't go for the aesthetic, and I get they can't.
It's kind of impossible to judge it based on looks, because first of all, we just aren't there yet with technology. Second, this is a children's game, so They gotta let
No,
the kids
no, no,
get...
no. It needs to be difficult. The game needs... It
Just
needs
like
to be
Pokemon.
complex.
Oh yeah, Pokemon is so difficult.
I cannot
It needs
wait.
to be. I'm an adult.
I cannot wait for the Animal Crossing mods to come out and it becomes dark and like some Animal Crossing villagers die throughout the story.
You can kill village.
You know, I did hear about a game that was very similar to Animal Crossing, but all of the characters are bears, and the bears are past souls, and you have to help them move on with their problems.
Are you talking about Spiritfarer?
I'm really not sure. My friend was telling me about it.
Because I don't think they're all bears, but like that's one of the games, like pretty much you're on this boat and like you're pretty much just making all sorts of past lives, past souls just kind of like come like to terms with their life and then go to the afterlife. It is wild.
Yeah,
and really sad. Really, really sad.
But yeah, that's like a dark Animal Crossing. Kind of cute.
I'm glad to know people have made it. They've made that game.
Yeah, it's like all those Pokemon ROM hacks where it's just like, yes, this game's mature and for adults. We have swearing and death in it.
I just want it to be a
and
little
drugs.
harder. Oh god.
I was gonna say with Pokemon it's a little bit strange just because there's never like it's not about like edge. It's always about the edgier stuff about swearing, death. It's never about I don't know good storytelling,
like mature themes
and I don't know actual good combat instead of doing like a Nuzlocke.
Yeah, where like everything's pumped like a Kaizo type thing.
Which is why I would say again buy SMT5. It's a fantastic game. I bet. It comes out tomorrow. I have SMT3 right now. And I can't get it because my parents are getting it for Christmas, I think. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I think all I really want out of Pokemon right now is to be able to play as an adult. Like, it doesn't even need to be extremely adult-themed.
It just has to be an adult.
Yeah, Pokemon trainers are adults. There's a lot of adults in the game.
You know,
I never play as a hiker.
Why do we always gotta be kids?
That actually just reminds me of Yakuza 7. In that game, you play as like a 40-something-year-old.
Yeah, like a middle-aged
dude. And he's just kind of like going through life, and he's finally succeeding after getting out of prison.
Yeah, he was in prison for like 20 years, and he's just like completely disillusioned. Like, he comes out, and people are like, instead of smoking, they're vaping, and they're like, they have like phones and stuff.
And he's like, what is going on? I think really the big question that Ichiban had was, are they still making Dragon Quest?
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing. He's a huge Dragon Quest fan in the game.
Okay.
And like, I know we're getting off topic, but I still think that like,
I mean, what was it? The funniest part is that like near the beginning of the game, one of his friends asks him like, "Oh, why are you just like standing there during fights and letting people like attack you?" He's like, "Oh, well, I think a bit like Dragon Quest. Like, I gotta give them their turn, and like I have my turn and stuff." They're like, "What?" And everyone just abides by those rules in the game.
And it's really funny just thinking that he literally just lets them punch him because it's their turn when he could, I don't know, dodge, block, never give them a chance.
Well, yeah, even Pokemon like dodge moves.
Yeah.
Even if it's not their turn.
So.
Oh no, you can dodge. Just like.
It's like
an RPG in a world where it shouldn't work. It's like the real world. So.
It's really weird because I never even thought about it. Shouldn't it always hit?
Yeah, it should always hit. Like if you're just standing still, you shouldn't be able to.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a really fun game though because he's like middle-aged and there's actual good like ideas, goals and stuff these people have in mind. I think that's what Pokemon could do easily, where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm a middle-aged guy. I want to be Pokemon champion, you know.
I want to be a trainer. I want to beat the Elite Four. You know,
why
all that
not?
stuff.
And a lot of the people that you're battling against to become Elite Four are adults.
Yeah.
So I don't see why it would be a problem.
I'd actually really like to see it where, you like, you beat like a 3-year-old child with a Pokemon and you ask for the money and they're like, "Why are you doing this to me, sir?" It's like, "Come on, cough it up."
A 3-year-old.
These are the
like.
rules.
Sometimes there are just
Welcome
like
to the real-
3-year-olds with like the bug nets and
Oh, yeah.
stuff, and
Oh,
then
yeah, bug catchers.
Yeah, bug catchers. There's like preschoolers in the game that you
There
can
is.
fight.
Yeah.
and then you just say cough it up, and they cough up like $200.
Yeah, and like.
It's like, this is
Please,
all of my allowance in
just
my
leave me
entire
alone.
life. This is all my tooth fairy money.
You're just taking their like bleeding
Give it to me.
Nidoran
Give it to me.
to the Poke Center.
Uh,
Making kids cry. My favorite part of Pokemon.
Beat the Pokemon up so bad, and then drive them to the Pokemon
Avoid-
Center. Like, all right, you've had your
avoid the beginning trainers and come back after you've beaten the game.
This is
like-
this is the mature themes that I want in
Right.
a Pokemon game.
It's like, hey, I challenge you to a Pokemon battle. You whip out like Rayquaza. It's like, oh really?
Become Giovanni. I
Yeah.
think that's
Just
the next
become a
thing.
mafia boss.
Become the mafia boss of Pokemon.
Or
Yeah.
at least have the option. Kind of like maybe like Skyrim. Give us more options.
like for like factions and all that stuff.
That would be cool if
But-
Pokemon had a job class.
But similar to Animal Crossing, it's a game made
Smooth.
for children. So
But not only children are playing it. So it's got to
It's-
have something for us adults.
yeah, it's got to have something, but also
I still say when it comes to
Hmm.
New Horizons, they should bring back emulation for like old games.
yeah.
Because the original GameCube one, I was so happy that they brought in like NES games. Like that was something that I was like, whoa, that's so cool. They never did it again. Never.
It'd be cool if they could do to kind of tie in with the Switch's stuff, like Game Boy stuff,
That would actually be
as
kind of
a
neat.
as a replacement for doing it on Switch Online.
Just add the Game Boy emulation right there. Never
Yeah.
bring Game Boy emulation to the Switch.
Yeah. Just be
Online.
like, hey, if you want to play some Game Boy games, get Animal Crossing.
Oh my gosh. I could
Nite-
see them doing that actually.
Nintendo, hire me. I have good business ideas.
It actually sounds like something they would do.
Mostly because like they were already asking for like what is it like a $30 increase for N64 and Genesis emulation.
Also,
Yeah.
Now
For
they're
the
asking for a
DLC.
$60 emulation fee for Animal Crossing.
Well, I don't. If you get the like updated version, like the whatever the
the
new paid
expansion.
version, yeah,
Yeah.
you get that for free.
Yeah,
on
obviously,
Animal
yeah.
Crossing. So
And
it's not
I
actually
actu-
that bad of a deal.
I accidentally extended my membership, and now I have like 3 years of online.
So
So,
he's
yeah.
set for like a good while.
Probably until I'll stop playing video games.
Well, and they give you a discount if
Because-
you purchase the new
just
version
get too
and you already
busy.
have the old version. They'll give you a discount for the difference.
It's nice, honestly. My entire family, we got the family deal,
Correct.
so
Oh, okay.
everybody was able to get N64 and the like
Genesis.
Genesis and DLC for Animal Crossing. It made sense. I mean, literally, how many people are playing Animal Crossing in my family? We have 6 people in total for my family, and I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 of them are playing Animal Crossing.
You guys could have family meetings on Animal Crossing.
I'm wondering if they have already. They
I
like
mean,
get
they all
together.
live together.
They all live together. I don't with them, so like they could always do that. They played Mario Party with Gabe, so it makes sense.
All right.
So yeah, I think we should get into the later part.
The last part of our podcast.
So we have the random game, and I had a whole list of Nintendo games just to go through. And I'm surprised. I thought that Stephanie had played this, or like I don't know. I got a feeling that you might have played it. The game is Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker, and it is hands down the greatest Legend of Zelda game of all time.
Well, and isn't the new Pokemon game supposed to be similar to this game?
It's. I think she's talking about like open world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to stop for a second. I was like, what are you talking about?
The new Arceus game.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be
Arc-
coming out.
I
Open
thought it was
world.
more people are comparing it more to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, just because of
Okay.
they're like grass, Breath of the Wild.
But the grass looks similar.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
They have mountains. It's Breath of the Wild on it, obviously.
So it is like an open world.
Yeah, in its own weird way. So this takes place after Ocarina of Time, like I want to say
Hundreds of years.
hundreds of years later, and when they figured out that Ganon was
Would
starting
like
to
revive again.
yeah, was like starting to like break from his seal from like once you
Being
finish
beaten.
Ocarina of Time, the gods were like, oh, okay, we're
Actually,
just gonna flood you.
I think the situation was that he did come back, and everyone was like, "Hey, like Link, come back, please," and he didn't, and they were like, "Oh,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he never revived. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, he never came.
He never got a reincarnation.
Yeah,
Ganon came around, and then yeah, the gods,
gods were
basically
like,
flooded all
they-
of Hyrule.
And then people settled on top of the highest mountains, and those are the islands in the game.
So basically, that's why there are islands and there's a huge ocean. It's a really interesting game because you play as Link. You have this boat that you're just sailing around, going from island to island. But it is one of my favorite games because it looks cute as all hell. Like, let me just say, I love the aesthetic of the game. It is my favorite because the expression on like Link's face is always funny. There's one part where Tetra, the pirate that you kind of like go along with every now and then, at some point to like launch you into this like fortress that Ganon is a part of, Link has to be put into a barrel that just gets catapulted towards the fortress.
And when she's counting down, he's like making these faces to like prepare himself.
He's like very angry at first, then he's sad, and then he like it's basically he's going through the 5 stages of grief as he's just
waiting for the
countdown, and by the end his eyes are closed. He's like, I am ready, and then gets launched, and then you just hear this yell,
scream,
and then he gets hit, and like the barrel hits a wall, and he just splats on it. It's very cartoony.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the game. It's cel shaded. It also has some fantastic like swordplay, I'd say, because this is the first one that has like a parry system.
Yeah, it's
counter.
more of a counter system.
Yeah, honestly, counter system.
Where if enemies do certain attacks, you can press A at a certain point, like right before they do, to like either
like
roll around them,
and then hit them in the back.
Or if they do like a horizontal swing, you like jump up and hit their head.
That sounds so cute.
It's really cool, actually, because the dungeons are, I've seen a lot of the like analysis videos where it's like, oh yeah, it's a relatively like basic, game formula for dungeons. At the same time, these are very straightforward, fun, and they do have some good puzzles. They have fantastic ones, good items that a lot of these are actually like fairly new to Zelda, like. I'd say like the leaf.
Yeah, the Deku leaf, the grappling hook.
The grappling hook was a lot of fun.
And then it just got turned obsolete by the hook shot, but
it's a really fun game just because you're going around these islands. There's always this feeling of dread. I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, but like when there's a storm happening on the ocean and you see no islands, I remember thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh. I'm so scared right now."
No, I was fine. I mean, usually it was more like, I'm on an adventure, and then when the squids show up, I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. Yeah, stuff like that. Oh god,
the krakens.
Yeah, the big octos.
Big octos. There's that one wind god part.
If you, like, there's a certain point where a bunch of, like, twisters show up, and if you don't, like, shoot the wind god guy in the center, he'll just like launch you to a
random area in the map.
That honestly sounds really strange, but not strange for like playing a Zelda game.
Yeah, but also I mean, the funniest part is when you actually beat him, he'll give you like a song
that lets you fast travel.
Yeah, that lets you fast travel with the tornadoes.
Wait, it's a song?
So basically, yeah, you have like the little like Wind Waker. It's like a little baton.
It's a baton.
And you just kind of do your own like little thing. It's
Wave it
really
around.
neat because yeah, you have to like control the wind to like go certain areas.
Oh.
Because you're on a sailboat, you need to have the wind with you.
And yeah, then there's those, fast travel songs where a huge twister comes up and just brings you down to the place that you wanted. It's really, really neat just because this game, when it comes to like a Zelda game, I feel like a lot of them, they have their own little quirks, they don't have their own little like characters that are cute, fun. This one brings it to like a whole new level, I'd say, when it comes to those characters, because almost every area it's like, oh yeah, I love this character. It's really funny. There's this one kid on your home island that has like a little
Like snot
booger
just hanging
snot
from
booger
his
just-
nose.
and he comes around, and if he sees you, he just
like,
runs
runs
towards you. And he makes this weird noise like,
Yeah.
and he's around because there's this little like exclamation point that hits, and it's like, oh no. I remember my brother and I would run away from him every time, like try to sneak around him, because we're like, we don't want that snotty nose kid around me.
I think we all knew someone like that growing up. Where you're just like, oh god.
Do you know how to wipe your nose?
I think I actually knew someone who had the snot bubble. So, yeah, that was an interesting time. I saw that. I was like, how? How did you do that? That is so interesting.
No, it's not. It's gross.
Oh, yeah, also,
It's disgusting.
Wind Waker introduced the best Zelda character, Beetle.
Oh, yeah, Beetle came in this one.
Just a second.
With the high-pitched, hi, bye.
Or, yeah, or it'll be like, when you don't buy anything, it'll be like, oh.
There's also a little, like, item that you can get where you, like, get a pear on your head.
And you can take control of a seagull by...
Yeah, it eats the pear, and then for some reason, now you have this little, like, way to control the seagull and go around areas that are high up.
Yeah, it's like...
I don't understand how that's a
surveying
thing.
tool.
If you feed a seagull, you get powers.
You get the sight
That
of a
face.
seagull.
He looks like an Easter Island head.
Yes,
But-
it does.
What do you think about this game? Have we sold you on this Zelda game? Do you think that it would be a very fun one?
I would play that game, yes, for sure. What is it for?
It's for
It's on
GameCube,
GameCube,
and
and
they remade it for the Wii U.
Well, I definitely have a Wii U and a GameCube, so...
The Wii U one is fantastic because that one has the Swift Sail, so
You don't have to change the wind direction manually.
and it goes really fast. So yeah, when you're like wanting to go somewhere really fast, sometimes with a regular sail, it takes a good while. It just kind of slowly goes towards the yeah, it's
Swift
not
sail
bad.
too.
Yeah, the Swift Sail, it just bolts right towards it, like really fast.
I
So
think it's like 2.5 times the speed.
yeah, I'd say it's like 2.5 times the speed. What's cool is you have to get it from an auction.
Oh, that's really funny.
The
yeah.
auctions are so much fun because basically, yeah, you have to like raise up the like rupee price, and people, will say like, "Oh, I want this for like 15, no 20." What you can do is raise it up to a ridiculous price, and then everyone will get stunned.
And
it
it's
makes
on
this,
a
like,
time
little-
limit.
So basically, it's like that stun where like little angels kind of appear
Yeah,
around their head,
stars.
like going around, and they're like, "Whoa, he did that much!" And you just see Link just hopping up and down like victory style, just like, "I did it! I
Yeah, but,
messed with all of your heads."
There was one last funny thing. So in all the Zelda games, you can capture fairies in bottles in order to resurrect yourself when you die.
Okay.
But the ones in Wind Waker, when you put them in the bottle, they look really sad.
They look
when
like
you-
they've been like captured. They have their hands on the glass from the bottle, and they're just
They're like
they have
sad.
like a sad face. They're just
It's like the ones from Shrek when him and
Oh,
Fiona are in the
yeah. Literally, he's just there, just kind of like, "Oh, get me out."
So sad.
Yeah, but Wind Waker is a very good Zelda game.
I like cute games,
Yes.
so I'm definitely
This is the
down for
cutest
that.
one. The only thing that I would say is absolutely terrifying are the Re-Dead in this one because they have, like the Re-Dead, they have that like regular screech that kind of stun you.
Yeah.
The one in Wind Waker is way more high pitched, and it's like
It sounds more realistic. It has a huge mouth and just and then it goes on you, and the huge mouth just chomp,
yeah, it starts
chomp,
biting you.
chomp.
That
Yeah.
sounds terrifying.
It's terrifying. I will show you a picture of it.
But
But I think that's all we got for today. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Bye, everybody.
bye.
Bye.